Okay. All right, so I think we are ready to get started. Hello, everyone. I'm Roger Woodard. I'm the program director for the online program in data science here at Notre Dame. And I wanted to welcome you to our first Facebook Live event of the season. And we are here in my office, and I just wanted to take a little time to tell you a little bit about the program in this Facebook Live event. And these Facebook Live sessions are something that we wanted to show you a little bit about the data science program and some of the things that we do kind of behind the scenes to try and make this a world-class program. So we're going to take a minute to tell you a little bit about what I'm thinking as I'm guiding the program, to tell you a little bit about how the program works and some of the nuances of what we do here. So just to let you know, if you have questions throughout this session, feel free to ping us with those and let us know in the comments, and I'll try and answer those along the way. I'll also save some time at the end for questions. This session is being recorded and will be available after I log off, so feel free to come back and take a look at it. And also feel free to share this out to your friends. If you know someone that might be interested in our online program in data science, feel free to go ahead and let them know and get them online so that they can tune in with us. So I recently came to Notre Dame. This is actually my first winter here, so I'm enjoying all the lake effect snows and all the great things about South Bend. But I was teaching online for about 10 years. I was running an online program for about 5 years as well. And when I had the opportunity to come to Notre Dame, I realized that it's an opportunity I really wanted to take. And that's because the program that we're building here is bringing together what I think of as all the right pieces to make a really great world-class online program. It is a program that is led out of the Department of Applied and Computational Mathematics and Statistics. And that brings in all the expertise that is housed in the Notre Dame academic department. We combine with that expertise from many of the other departments around campus, like the Computer Science Department, the Mendoza College of Business folks, the Center for Social Science Research, and many others across campus. And by combining all that, we bring together great academic rigor. We bring together a lot of expertise that is present here at Notre Dame. One of the other things that we bring to the program is that there's a lot of support from the top of the university. The provost office was very involved in creating this program, the Office of Digital Learning. One of the things that I sensed when I got involved in this program was that it's not just a single department trying to create a program, it's actually the entire university that's behind it. It also brought in the support from industry, and that's something that I think is really important for a program like this. We want our students to be able to do the things that employers need. And to achieve that, you need to have industry folks in the conversation. The Notre Dame program is in partnership with AT&T. And yes, AT&T provides funding and things along those lines, but they also talk with us about the program on a regular basis so that we can find out from them what they really need. And this is true of many of our academic or industry partners that Notre Dame has. And we really are hosting that conversation and really talking with people and saying, what do employers really need in a data scientist? The other big thing that brought me here was the fact that it was Notre Dame. And that's actually something special that, you know, Notre Dame is a university that's 175 years old, but it's very forward thinking. It's a university that is committed to academic excellence. So we do the things that other research institutions do. We make sure that we've got the best people. We make sure that we have world-class faculty and so forth. But we're really committed to our students. And that's something that I really recognize every day here, that the students are the most important thing to the people here at Notre Dame. And we have a group of staff and faculty here that really do embody that commitment to the students. We also have a strong desire to support the social good. And that's something that's also really valuable. in the data science space. And when the university started thinking about creating online programs, one of the things that they wanted to do was reach beyond South Bend, get out there and have an impact on the leadership in the rest of the world, and with people that aren't really located here. And that was one of the things that led them to think about, well, what area is ripe for combining that academic excellence that we've got with the desire to do something fantastic and that leadership standard that we embody here. And that's when the decision was made that they should really look at data science. It's a field that is growing exponentially. It is a field that is impacting everyone's lives on a day-to-day basis. And it's something that the university realized they could produce great data scientists that could really be leaders in the field and could help guide the conversation so that in the future, uses of data science really were something that could be guided by the folks that came out of Notre Dame's data science program. So in terms of what I'm thinking about when I run the program on a day-to-day basis, when I meet with my staff, when I talk with the other faculty and so forth, one of the things that I think is probably foremost in our minds, going along with that Notre Dame tradition, is the idea that we want to provide the best educational experience for our students. We also want to make sure that we build a community of equality and respect for our students. In doing that, one of the things that we're going to be doing is building what we call three-dimensional data scientists. And I'll say more about this later on and talk more about what that actually means. But the key is that we really are trying to make sure that this is the best program in data science in the country or in the world, because we want to turn out the best data scientists so that we can have a real impact on where society is going. So what is it that makes Notre Dame so great? Why is it that we are able to do these kinds of things that are going to lead to great people in the data science field that are going to make leaders, so forth? One of the things, obviously, is that we bring in great students. And when I think about great students, this is something that I've often had long conversations with people about what makes a student that's really great. And one thing that I've definitely found is it's not just the people with the highest GRE scores. You need to have academic ability, that's true. And you need to have good academic scores, that kind of stuff. But it's also the whole person. It is, what kind of things do you do outside of the classroom? It is, what kind of industry are you working in? What kind of projects are you involved in? And that's part of what we're doing in this program, is that this program is built for people who are working professionals. They are people that probably have a career going on right now and want to become data scientists. So we want to find those individuals who are going to be able to succeed. So we're looking for great academic abilities. We're looking for people that are doing great things and really have that drive and that desire to go out there and be amazing in whatever career they choose. And we're hoping that we can help them to become data scientists and apply that drive and desire to become the next round of leaders in the data science world. And by producing those amazing alumni, that's what's really going to have an impact on our society, and that's really something that we're really going for. So finding those people that have that energy and having them apply it to data science is one of our big goals. How do we get those people and finding them and then bringing them in? Once we've got them here, we want to think about what kind of experience they're going to have. And one thing that I should stress is that, unlike a lot of other programs in the field, this is not a mass program. We're not looking for thousands of students each semester. Here at Notre Dame, we have a tradition of providing personalized support for our students. Whereas in other programs, you might be learning data science online. In the entire time that you go through a master's program, you might only ever really talk to graduate TAs or individuals who are adjuncts or something like that. Here at Notre Dame, we keep our class sizes small, and we make sure that we have a close connection between our faculty and our students. We also have dedicated staff. We have a student services manager, we have student acquisitions folks, I myself, we all make sure that we are having conversations with our students on a daily basis, because we want to make certain that we know the students, and we want to make sure that if there's something going on, if someone is taking on a new project at work or something like that, and it's going to impact their performance in our classes, we want to know about that. And we want to make sure that we help them to get through that and to still do a great job in the classes so that they then go on to become those great alumni. So in terms of delivering that great learning experience, one of the things that we are bringing to the program are the award-winning faculty that we have in the host department, ACMS, also in the other departments around campus that are helping us with this program. And those individuals know data science. They know the rigorous mathematic underpinnings, they also know the applications, and they know what students will need down the line. And we supplement that by bringing in our experts from industry. We've got those AT&T folks that help us out. We also have lots of guest lectures from other friends of the program that are in other industries. So, for instance, one of the folks that we brought to campus as a guest lecturer was Hadley Wickham. Hadley's been in the development of one of our software packages that we use, R. He is world-renowned as an expert in data science and also in computer programming. We brought him to campus to have a conversation with our faculty to talk about the things that they should be putting into the program, and also to record some guest lectures for us. So as our students go through our courses, they'll hear not just from those award-winning faculty, but then also from experts in the field. Just this week, our team was out filming some content with other folks from around the industries. Last week, I think we were out talking with folks in Chicago from Neo4j to talk about things like graph databases, and really getting those technical sides and talking about what's really happening in terms of data science in industry. What are people really doing out there so that we can better prepare our students for those experiences? And then we package all of that expertise. We bring it together, we plan it out, and we package it in a great online course. And this was one of the things that when I came to Notre Dame and looked at how we did this, I realized this is a great way to create our courses. And we're really trying to make sure that we're doing best-in-class online courses. We're combining robust learning design and really innovative products and methods. So we're working with the cutting edge of learning design and learning technologies to really try and make sure that that experience is something that's better than you would get at a lot of other programs. We combine our asynchronous online content with live sessions. And this is something that I also thought was really a really important part of what would make this a great program. It looks like we've got a question that's coming in. It looks like, what technology do we use to deliver the program? We actually use a whole suite of technologies. We are building our own custom learning management system that we've rolled out. It's called Nexus, and it combines a lot of the important features from other learning management systems that we saw. So in my experience, I've worked with lots of different learning management systems. We wanted to make sure that we got one that was built specifically for this program and that did a lot of the things that we wanted. So for instance, we really want to make sure that there is a good social aspect to the classroom. And this is something that a lot of times we forget about. So we think about content delivery, getting information out to the students. And we forget that when a student is sitting in a traditional classroom, they're sitting there with all those other people around them. They're sitting there in front of that faculty member, and they're having conversations. And some of them are with the faculty member, but a lot of them are also with their classmates. And we wanted to make sure that that was available and something that we could build into our program. And that's part of what we've got in Nexus, is that we've got that social aspect coming on. So to tell you a little bit about how the courses are structured, we combine that asynchronous part, so that part that a person does on their own schedule when they want to, with live sessions, a synchronous component where they're in a virtual classroom with the instructor and other students. And we really designed this to do what's best in terms of what the person is learning. So when you're by yourself, you can learn a lot of things and you can go through a lot of stuff. You don't need to be in a room with 30 other people to learn some definitions or learn the basic facts of how something works. So for that asynchronous component, we talk to people about, here are some machine learning algorithms. Here's how they work. Here's how you program it and what it does. But then we bring them together in a synchronous session to build their abilities in terms of critical thinking. And that's something that is, for me, an important part of it, to make sure that you're not just learning how to do things, but also why you do them and why they work and what are the underlying things behind it. So when you're in that class with the instructor, with the other students, in that live session, you can go through and talk through things like, why would I choose one machine learning algorithm over another? Should I use naive Bayes? Should I use a random forest? What is it I'm going to use in that particular situation, and why would I choose it? Because that's the kind of thing that a data scientist needs to do on a daily basis when they're actually being a data scientist. You have to think about it and say, okay, this is the data that I'm analyzing. I need to choose the appropriate method to figure out what's going on. And then we also make sure we think about all the things that can go wrong. And this is another important piece of it. In the real world, things are not like they are in a nice classroom example. Things go wrong, things break, the assumptions behind things are not necessarily valid. So we always have to think about all those things that can go wrong. And that's part of what we also do in those live sessions, is we talk through all the things that can go wrong in an analysis. And that's, in the end, helping to build that creative thinking that we need for people to be able to go out and do this on their own. So by combining these two pieces, we hope to build better data scientists. But since we've built it online and we've got the asynchronous part that is very flexible in terms of when people do it, it allows us to target those working professionals. Because they don't have to be in a classroom 3 days a week, it's not like a traditional on-campus program. You're able to build it around your day job and be able to really learn the material in a schedule that makes sense for you. But you also have all that connection with the other students and also with those faculty members. So you're not just sitting there watching a bunch of YouTube videos to learn how to do something. You also have the ability to ask questions, to go beyond what's in the material and say, okay, when you were working at a particular company, what did you do? Talking with those professors, talking with the other people in your class, really digging into the deeper parts of it so that you really get a good understanding of what's happening. Let's see. We've got some other questions coming in. I'm just trying to, we've got one here from Jen. What classes do you have that distinguishes Notre Dame data sciences from other programs? Yeah, we, and this actually is something that is an important thing that we think about here as well. When we're planning out the curriculum and thinking about what are we going to teach and how do all these pieces fit together and how do we make sure that people know what they need to know by the time they're done with the program, we really think of it as trying to develop what we call a 3D data scientist. And that's what I mentioned a little bit earlier. That 3D data scientist is someone that can really do what we need for the real world. So when I talk to folks who are data scientists and ask them, you know, you need to hire someone new for your group, what do you want them to be able to do? And there are many things that they talk about. They talk about the need for technical skills. So that's one aspect of this 3D data scientist that we have. And many programs out there work very hard at making sure you get the technical skills. And we do that as well. We make sure that our students get a rigorous training in the technical areas. They learn about statistics, they learn about computer science, and they learn how to think critically about the tools and techniques that they're using. So they don't just learn, here's how to program in R, program in Python. We try to teach them how to think about it and say, well, why is one package going to work better than another? Why is it that we want to do one thing as opposed to another? Why would we want to use this machine learning algorithm instead of this other one? So we really try to build that critical thinking on top of that rigorous training in the technical sides. But we also want to make sure that students know how to tell the story. And this is something that is also one of those things that a lot of times people don't do enough of. And we have to make sure that our students can communicate effectively. And that's because you do a great data analysis, you find out all these interesting things. But if you don't tell the story well, no one else is going to find out about that. And the decision makers that might have changed the way they do something aren't going to know about it. So we want to make sure that we build in that ability to tell the story, to communicate effectively and say, here's the results that I've got, here's what it tells me about that real world problem we're trying to solve, and here's how it guides the actions that we're going to take from it. So we build that storytelling component in there as well. And the other part, and this one, I think, personally, I feel like this is the most important one. We want our graduates to really become data scientists who act ethically. There's been a lot of things in the news over the last few years about things that are going on with data that represent various aspects of how things can go wrong when you're a data scientist. And one of the things that we try to do in building our program is to make sure that we build in that ethical training. And we have a course that is specifically targeted towards ethics, just like we have one about communication, just like we have one about machine learning algorithms. But that ethical training isn't just a course. It's actually integrated throughout the entire program. We talk about it pretty much in every course and talk about, you know, what kind of natural biases might this process build in and how should we defend against those? What kind of things might go wrong and how that might impact the people that we're making decisions about. So we really try to build in that ethical training throughout so that when we're creating this 3D data scientist, we're creating the dimension of technical expertise, also the dimension of effective communication, but then adding on to that ability to think about it in an ethical framework and really to understand the impact of what they're doing. Let's see. So I've rambled for quite a bit here, so maybe I should take a look at some more of the questions that are coming in. Let me take a look and see. Looks like we've got a question from Courtney. How many hours can I plan to spend studying outside of scheduled class times? That's a great question. And this one obviously is going to vary depending on the particular semester, the combination of classes, and so forth. So if you are in a programming class and you've been a programmer for 20 years, obviously it's going to take you a little less time than maybe someone who's new to programming. But typically, we think about it as about 2 hours outside of class for every hour in class. Now, the thing we have to remember, though, is that part of the in-class part for this program is that asynchronous content. So you really should be thinking about it as overall during the week, you have about 3 hours of class. So you should be thinking about somewhere on the order of about 6 hours of other time that you're putting into things like reading the textbook chapters, doing the homework, and so forth. The piece that I'll add to that, and this is just advice that I give to all my students, is that you should also be planning to use that time even if the instructor didn't give you stuff to do. So you may be able to get the homework assignment done in an hour, but maybe you should use some more of that time that you didn't need to maybe look at other things like preparing your notes, going back through, looking at things, and really making sure you have a good feel for the material. Let's see. Don't see a lot of other questions that are popping in at the moment, but I will say a little bit about the program overall. We actually are building some courses that are really kind of unique in some ways, in that they really take that expertise and make sure that it's building up over time. You know, a lot of times we might take a course and it's the only course that we're looking at, and you get in there and you really see the material, but then you go on and do something else after the course is over, and you really forget about the stuff that you've learned. One of the things that we're building into the program is that for many of the topics, we hit them at multiple points throughout the 5 semesters that the program lasts. So you might talk about a particular topic in your first semester in the Systems and Tech course where you're learning how to program, but then you come back and see it again in your linear models course, but then you address it again in a slightly different way in your general linear models course a few semesters later. By doing that, and by using a program where we know everyone's got the same courses, everyone's doing the same thing, it really allows us to make sure that by the time the person is at the end of those 5 semesters, they really have a very good feeling of the material and really probably know it a little bit better than they would have if they just had freestanding courses that weren't part of a lockstep program. Let's see. Another question that's come in is, where can we find out more information about the program? For that, the best thing that you can do is take a look at our website at datascience.nd.edu. We have a prospectus download there, so you can go through that form and get the prospectus. We also suggest you sign up for our blog. Here we're talking about a variety of things, and we'll share that link on our Facebook page. You can take a look at the topics that we're talking about. We try to talk about interesting things that are going on in the day-to-day life of the program, but also in data science in general. The other thing that I would say, and maybe I'll wrap up with this idea, is that if you have questions and it's not something that we've covered in the website or in some other spot, I do encourage you to contact us, either through email or through the website. Get a hold of us, and we are glad to talk to you about any aspect of it. Oh, I see we've got some more questions coming in. A question from Todd. Is there a thesis required? This is a non-thesis program. This is a professional master's. We do not require a thesis as part of this program. We do have a lot of project-based work, but it's not an overall program thesis. So you do get the experience of actually analyzing data from start to finish in several of our courses, but it is not a thesis-based program. let's see, some other questions coming in. Angela is asking, what type of programming skills would you recommend to best prepare for the program? So one of the things we would like to have is a student that has a great understanding of how programming works. We specifically use a lot of R and Python. Those are languages that are very popular in data science right now. But really, it's good algorithmic thinking that we're looking for. So when we evaluate applicants, we want to make sure that they can learn new programming languages and learn new things and be able to apply general good algorithmic thinking. So some experience with a programming language of some type where you learn how to actually create programs. In terms of the ones that we specifically use, the first semester we use R and Python. So it's always great if you have experience with those. But if you have a good programming background, most people can step in and learn R and Python just from that first semester's courses. A follow-up question to that, Angela asked if we use R and Python. Yes, we do. Oh, and also SQL. We do use SQL, and we have an entire course on databases. We get those. We get students exposure to that, and also some of that working with really big data in that databases course as well. So I think we've got a lot of questions out there that people are ready to ask. We are more than happy to answer those. If you have questions and we haven't covered them here and want to throw one to us, feel free to email us, touch us through the Facebook website, or make sure that you go to the website and download the prospectus. With that, we'll probably wrap up here. We're getting to the end of the time that we've allotted for this. But do contact us. We are more than happy to tell you more about the program. Our next Facebook Live event is going to be coming up in January. So be sure to tune back in for that. And have a great holiday season, and we'll talk to you soon.